Top 5 Theater Superstitions. Number 5. The blues. In the early days of theater costuming, it was extremely difficult to make blue dye, and thus expensive to purchase. Companies that were failing would wear blue garments to try and fool their audience as to their success, and likely go bankrupt due to the cost of the costumes. The silver that countered it was proof of a successful company, as it proved to the audience that they could afford real silver or they had a wealthy backer. Number 4. Unlucky Rule of 3. While it is adhering to the rule of 3, having lit 3 candles on stage is considered bad luck. It is said that the person nearest to the shortest candle will be the next to marry, or the next to die. Before electric lights were commonplace in theater, the stage was lit by candles. Although this is not the origin of the superstition, the unlucky candles had to be on the stage, that is, part of the set. Logic prevails on this one, as with dim lighting, busy people and highly flammable fresh paint on the set, you are running the risk of burning down the theater. Number 3. Feathers. Many veteran thespians tell stories of sets collapsing, curtains catching alight and other disastrous events during performances with peacock feathers. The feather is said to represent a malevolent evil eye, that bestows a curse on the show. The association between peacock feathers and the evil eye is best illustrated by the Greek myth of Argus, the monster whose body was covered with 100 eyes. These eyes were transferred to the tail of the peacock. Number 2. Graveyard flowers are given on closing night to symbolize the death of the show, and that it can now be put to rest. The rational origin is that theater was, as most people who have worked in the industry will tell you, never a greatly profitable profession, and despite being macabre, graves were a great source of free flowers. Number 1. The light is placed downstage center, illuminating the space when it is not in use, to keep ghosts with enough light so that they can see, which keeps them at bay. This is another superstition with a practical value. The backstage area of a theater tends to be cluttered with props, set pieces and costumes, so someone who enters a completely darkened space is prone to being injured while hunting for a light switch. It prevents those still living from having to cross the stage in the dark, injuring themselves and leading to new ghosts for the theater. It's also known as the equity light or equity lamp.